In the eyes of God, Adam dared to steal the forbidden fruit. Not long after that, he also made Eve no longer chaste. Therefore, God gave them two choices. Either follow to the darkness's temptation, or follow the light's guidance. However, God didn't anticipate that. Adam and Eve hoped that God became enraged and descend them down to earth. Angels who were created by God were sympathetic to Adam and Eve. So they accompanied them to earth in order to assist them. But to God, this was a complete betrayal. And of course, betrayal would be punished. Angels who landed on earth were surrounded by layers of lava and rocks. The previous dazzling aura had faded and been replaced by this stone monster shape. But the angels didn't leave humankind. And with their assistance, Adam and Eve's descendants built a great civilization out of the dust. But along with that, greed was also growing. Everyone started murdering each other. The flesh and blood were devastated as well. And in order to live longer, they began murdering the angels that had previously assisted them. At a critical juncture, a man named Methuselah stepped up to assist them. The angels that survived were imprisoned on this barren land, awaiting God's forgiveness. They were looking forward to being able to return to God one day. Their opportunity had finally arrived after a lengthy wait. A man named Noah depended on God's guidance in his dream. He took his family to this barren landscape, and found that Methuselah had a life of solitude. In his dream, the earth would be devastated by an apocalyptic flood, and all humankind would perish. However, there came an ark that saved all of the animals. This was the guidance God gave him. And he had to construct an ark before the apocalyptic flood came. Methuselah handed Noah a seed from the Garden of Eden after listening to him, and told him to find the angels to assist him. However, angels no longer trusted humankind. They even despised humankind. When he was about to defend, the newly planted seed erupted a torrent of water. A miracle occurred as the water continued to spread. This man was not simple. He was Adam and Eve's eighth descendant. He was also the one who God had selected to save the world. Noah successfully constructed an ark with the assistance of angels. They then greeted the first group of visitors. And all they had to do was keep an eye on all the birds that came in under the God's guidance. The appearance of the bird increased the Noah family's confidence that their decision was correct. The second group of guests came a few days later. Many sorts of reptiles had arrived after a long journey. The third wave of visitors included all of the world's large animals. And each sort of animal had a pair, a male and a female, came here. They couldn't store too much food aboard the boat. Then, with the assistance of Methuselah, Noah and his wife discovered a herb that could make animals be unconscious. Just when Noah felt he was about to finish his task, a fresh set of guests emerged out of nowhere. However, there wasn't enough place for them aboard the boat. But the king of humankind didn't believe so. He believed that he owned everything on this land. He observed that Noah was alone, so he decided to steal it. But the next thing he knew, he was kicking himself. When Noah called out to the stones stacked on the ground, they immediately stood up. They were angels who had been severely punished. As long as they assisted Noah in completing the task, they would be permitted to return to God. So every entity that threatened the ark became their adversary. The king was astounded at the size of the angels' bodies. He used aggressive words to imply that the next time he would bring along the army. Noah was well aware that the king would not let them be. So he had to hurry and complete building the ark. But what Noah didn't expect was that while the exterior problems remained unsolved, internal problem arose. The second son became aware that his sibling had a lover. And father had mother, as do animals on boats. He was the only one who was single. All humankind would perish if the flood rose, so how about him was? So he requested that his father found him a lover. His father unexpectedly rejected him. He was so embarrassed that he grew enraged and raced straight to the king's domain. He carelessly dumped in a mass grave. He met a girl when he was inside. Then he swiftly got her out. It began to rain heavily all of a sudden. The humankind barracks had devolved into chaos. So the king got further enraged and questioned God that, if he made them, why he would want to destroy humankind. Then he gathered the army and proceeded to the ark. The ugly rock monsters were not bad, but rather angels were descended down to earth by the God. They just needed to assist Noah in completing the task. If they protected the ark properly, they would be able to return to God once more. These rock monsters were so powerful that they could use the mace to bash up a vast area. However, humankind was no longer terrified of angels at this time. They would perish if they did not board the ark. Soon later, as a result of a people's attack, and a spear piercing the heart of the king, an angel fell down. But then, all of a sudden, the rock monster broke the lava and clay covering, and his angel form ascended back to heaven. The surviving angels recognized that their task was about to complete. All they had to do was battle to the death. They would be able to return to their actual body. As a result, they no longer cared and attacked the humankind army with ferocity. The disparity in quantity was just too large. The appearance of each beam of light represented an angel leaving Earth. When the final angel initiatively detonated his energy, humankind was also destroyed by the apocalyptic